What did Josh Kroenke have to say about Michael Malone and Kevin Booth a week after they were both fired? This is your Denver Sports Daily for April 15th.
The biggest stories, the latest news. It's Denver Sports Daily.
It's been a week since the Nuggets shocked the basketball world by firing Michael Malone and Kevin Booth. And yesterday, Josh Kroenke opened up more on the very tough decisions he made. And he made it very clear that they were tough decisions. Kroenke was very open with the public, making it known that this was not a decision made quickly. In fact, he's been considering it, making those changes since Thanksgiving time. Now, with that though, it makes it weirder. Honestly, it makes it stranger. Why wait until 3 games before the season ends when you feel the rift that early in the season? It kept growing. You know, you heard about the fights between Kevin Booth and Michael Malone. They were going on all season since the Nuggets won the championship. Honestly, there were thoughts that this was happening. Why wait? Why give them so much time and then finally say that was enough? Again, I said when it happened, it was those 4 games that they lost in a row that broke the camel's back. That was a straw. But should that have been the straw? Should there have been a bigger sign earlier in the season or earlier a couple years ago that, maybe this was time to move on? And part of that is you win a championship, you extend your lease. You get a little bit more time, obviously, as you should. As a coach and GM, if you win a championship, that signs you in. That makes it clear that, okay, even if there are problems between these two guys, they got to stay here because they win championships. But you felt it growing. You felt the gap between them get wider. And then it took those 4 games towards the end of the season, and they were both gone. It's strange. Now, Kroenke also spoke on the possibility of making some major offseason trades, including, but not limited to, Michael Porter Jr. Now, Porter Jr. is the biggest name people bring up when weighing trade options for the Nuggets, but the decision was shot down in the past, and most people thought it was due to the ties with the Kroenke family and the ties that they have with the University of Missouri, where they were alumni along with Porter Jr. Now, that wasn't until yesterday when Kroenke took the stage and said, I'm incredibly proud of Michael. Let's talk about him on a human level and what he's been through. But I think that any kind of report saying that we're not open to trading everybody possible to improve the team is completely false. He shot that down. He said it's not a decision he's going to make. Or not a decision he's not going to make, I guess would be the better way to say that. He would trade Michael Porter Jr. because that would make the team better if the right opportunity came along. Now, with these major shakeups, and with more seeming to come, in the offseason with the trade deadline, things like that, it's hard to imagine this team will be able to reach the mountaintop again this season, but there is still a bright future ahead. Now, you move towards what's happening at the end of the season. They're going to the postseason again. They're taking on the Clippers. First time since the bubble run. It's going to be a hard-fought bout. It's not going to be as I said it yesterday, there's a good chance the Nuggets aren't as lucky as they were last time they played. Because last time they played in the playoffs, they came back from a 3-1 deficit and secured a spot in the Western Conference Finals. That doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen often at all. Coming back from a 3-1 deficit is hard enough to do, and the Nuggets did it twice that season. The only time it's ever been done in NBA history, coming back from 2 3-1 deficits. And they did it, and it was against the Clippers. But the Clippers are a different team this year. They are. They've got Kawhi Leonard. They got James Harden. They got Zubac. They've got some great pieces on that team, and it's not going to be as easy as they made it seem a couple years ago. This team is tired now. The Nuggets aren't where they were in 2020. In 2020, they were kids. They were young. They were hungry. They wanted to win. They felt the 3-1 deficit, and they came back and they won it. This year, if they go down 3-1, it's over. You can call it over before it happens because they're not the same team. They're older. They're more tired. There's division in this locker room. It's not going to be as lucky. What they need to do is play the same basketball that they've played for the last 3 games under Adelman because he's been great. If they can play the same basketball that they've been playing, and you can give the credit to Adelman, but really where the credit goes is Nikola Jokic. Because Nikola Jokic is taking that coaching position. He's coaching up the team. Follow Jokic, be the guy right behind him, and there can be good things to come of this. Jokic said it. The beast is most dangerous when it's vulnerable, and they're vulnerable right now. So if they can go out and string together a few wins early in this postseason matchup, they can make a deep run. They just need to win this first round, and if they can win it handily in 5 games, if they can win it in 5 games, that'll be a telltale sign that this team can win another championship. Now, moving on, will the Avs be able to get their revenge against Dallas this season after getting bested by them in the playoffs last year? The Avs finished off their season on a high note, getting a comeback win against Anaheim on Sunday, but now they're looking ahead to the first round of the playoffs against a familiar foe in the Dallas Stars. Now, last season, again, ended with a double overtime loss to the Stars in Game 6, and Jared Bednar had made it clear that they won't end the season in the same way. They won't. They're not going to end the season in the exact same way they did last season. Now, Jared Bednar spoke after the win against Anaheim, saying, "We'll be ready. We've got a whole week off here to get prepared for Dallas." And then Bednar continued, "We know they're a very good team. Obviously, they're finishing in the top 3 in the league, and they've been through tough competition for us over the last few years. They got the better of us last year in the playoffs, but this is why you play." He's obviously ready. He's looking good. He's looking forward to it. Now, the Avs have a rough history with Dallas in the postseason, losing 4 of the 6 matchups they've had and losing the last 2, Game 7 back in 2020, and Game 6 last year in the conference semis. Both of those games where they lost were actually in the conference semifinals. So if they can make it through Dallas, again, this is kind of going back to what I've been saying all year about the Avs. The Avs look hot. They look really, really good. If they can get past Dallas, I don't think there's a team out there that can stop the Avalanche from winning the Stanley Cup. And another piece to take into account here, especially with Dallas, last year, the Avs went to 6 games without Gabe Landeskog, and then Val Nichushkin obviously had his whole, where it, again, like he kind of got suspended, missed out on some of those games. Those two are looking like they'll be back on the ice this year. With, Gabe Landeskog, that's a huge get if he can come back. Not for his play on the ice, but for his play in the locker room. What can he do for this team in the locker room? If he's back, that would be huge for this team's confidence. Plus, the additions of Mackenzie Blackwood and Scott Wedgwood between the posts. Those guys are amazing. Martin Necas, Jack Drury, Brock Nelson. That's an extra scoring punch, extra great play from those guys. Those are huge acquisitions the Avalanche made in the season, throughout the season. Now, but perhaps the biggest story of the matchup, and people may be forgetting this a little bit, is that they'll be taking on a familiar face in Mikko Rantanen, who's taking the ice for Dallas. It's going to be a bittersweet moment to see Rantanen in the playoffs, but honestly, for me, it's mostly bitter, knowing that he went to one of the Avs' biggest rivals for a very similar amount of money. It doesn't sit well with me. I don't like it. I get that he didn't like the front office and how they were not giving him the money that he wanted, but still, you're going to a division rival for the same amount of money. I really hope that the Avs can just get out there and send a message saying, "Hey, Mikko, you should have stayed here." Now, the Avs and Stars will face off either this Saturday or Sunday, and the Avs are already set as slight series favorites. It's going to be very interesting to see what the Avs can do, at least in this first series. In the playoffs, especially with the NHL, with hockey, you got to take it series by series. Honestly, you got to take it game by game because there's so much movement that can happen. There's so many different, storylines that you have to follow throughout every game. It's going to be an incredible watch. I couldn't ask for a better first round matchup for the Avs. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, that'll be either this Saturday or Sunday. They haven't released the actual date quite yet. But that's going to do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I'll be back with you guys again tomorrow. I want to talk a little bit more about the draft. Can the Broncos get Omari and Hampton? Because if you've been watching, you know what I think. I think that they're getting Omari and Hampton with that 20th pick if they stay with the 20th pick. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, y'all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all then. Bye, y'all.